And we are just hours away from more DNC speakers. I spoke with CBS News political correspondent Ed O'Keefe about what we can expect tonight and about that most talked about moment of day one, former First Lady Michelle Obama's speech.
Oh, it's going to be a tough hill to surmount. She certainly delivered what many believe to be one of the best convention speeches of all time, and in a way that a convention speech really has never been delivered before, straight to camera, one-on-one with the viewer. Many think that she probably couldn't have delivered that effective an address from a large arena like conventions are usually held. Tonight we'll hear from Dr. Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife. She's a longtime teacher and will address the convention from a classroom here in the Wilmington, Delaware area where the Bidens have lived. She recently told CBS Sunday Morning that if she becomes First Lady, she'd like to find a way to continue teaching, as she did when she was Second Lady, teaching at a Northern Virginia community college. Tonight's also a night for formers and current stars of the party, former Presidents Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton. Clinton expected to slam the president for his response to the pandemic, but also his struggles so far with the economic recovery. And the keynote address, which is normally given by a rising star in the party, will instead tonight be given by 17 party leaders from across the country, some from California, Texas, Pennsylvania, and elsewhere. They'll be doing it together, essentially everyone being given just a few sentences to read in a speech that's being given collectively. It's designed to showcase the youth and the diversity of the party across the country. And the woman that ends it is Stacey Abrams, of course, the Georgia lawmaker who was on the short list to be Biden's vice president, who narrowly lost a gubernatorial race in Georgia 2 years ago and is seen by many as a potential member of the Biden cabinet or perhaps another statewide candidate in Georgia in a few years.
You mentioned Dr. Jill Biden. Is she going to also give us maybe a glimpse at the more personal side to her husband?
Yeah, she's going to have to. I mean, that's one of the things that a spouse usually does in this setting, is try to talk about how she met her husband. That's what we expect her to focus on. To also talk about the fact that, remember, she is Biden's second wife. His first wife was killed in a car accident shortly after he was elected to the Senate. They married a few years later, and she helped raise Biden's sons from his first marriage. She'll likely talk about that. But she, I think, also wants to remind Americans that she is, in many ways, a working professional. She has been a teacher her entire professional life and would like to continue doing that. That would break the mold from previous First Ladies if she's able to do it. But it's also important, I think, at this time, when so many Americans are thinking about the situation of sending their kids back to school, so many teachers we know are struggling with what exactly to do, whether they should head back into the classroom or find a way to teach virtually or try to sit out the year. It's likely she's going to talk about that as well. Teachers and their labor unions across the country, of course, are usually quite supportive of Democratic candidates.
In CBS News, we'll have coverage of the DNC starting at 7 o'clock. That is followed by CBS Tuesday primetime shows, then a special edition of KPIX 5 News at 10 o'clock for you, and our news, of course, at 11. We will, of course, be following the DNC all week long, both on air and online at kpix.com.